The FNaF World Refreshed Nuzlocke has got to be one of the most popular soul-crushing experiences a man can ever go through. YouTubers such as AstralSpiff have attempted the Nuzlocke and lost entire teams solely due to bad RNG, and even Dawko threw his hat into the ring, and proceeded to have more British joy and whimsy than any other man I've seen before. But honestly, I think these two are just being dramatic. I mean, come on, you get 8 whole slots to fill up your team with party members, and if one dies, they're easily replaceable. It was then when I got quite possibly the worst idea I've ever had. Can you beat the FNaF World Refreshed Nuzlocke with only one character at a time? The rules are quite simple. Firstly, for the entire game, you can have only one character on your team, and the rest of the slots must be filled out with gravestones. This means our second team is completely non-existent, and our first team only has one member. Secondly, if that one character dies at any point, they're dead for good and must be replaced by someone completely new. Finally, to beat the game, we must defeat Scott within the game's hardest difficulty, in which we somehow need to find a way to defeat the final boss with only one character on our team. With only one character slot available to me, I not only had to figure out who out of the 60 plus characters could be a jack of all trades and have the tools to deal with any situation, but also make sure they could survive every single enemy attacking only them at once. So, without further ado, this is the FNaF World Refreshed one character Nuzlocke.
Hey, anyone out there who's somehow got their hands on this recording?
I'm currently adrift and alone within Lilygear Lake. After what happened, I don't really have anyone else to talk to but myself, so here we are. I've come to learn being all by yourself really gives you a lot of time to reflect. So I suppose I should start back at the very beginning, where at first, everything wasn't so bad. I'll be honest, I killed Freddy Fazbear as soon as the Nuzlocke started. For context, in order to get only one character on my team, I have to fill the rest of the slots with gravestones, which requires at least one character to already be dead to do so. I was conflicted on choosing who would die right off the bat, but after seeing Freddy Fazbear in his lollipop character skin FNaF World Refreshed added, I knew he would be absolutely perfect. Hello, adventurer! My name is Fredbear, and I'll be your guide through this FNaF world!
Oh my god, aren't you Fast Fredbear from Hello Neighbor?
I'll show you Fast Fredbear with these punches, you little twerp! After Fredbear beat up Freddy to a pulp at 999 miles an hour, I gathered the 7 Freddy souls and selected Bonnie as my singular party member. I was finally ready to start my one-character Nuzlocke journey, but right off the bat, I could tell this is absolutely not how you're supposed to play the game. First off, with only one character on our team, that one character has to be able to do everything all at once. This isn't a full team where every character has their designated role. Optimally, our one character not only needs to have an attacking move, but also a way to heal themselves if they get low, and a way to lower enemy attack power. Unfortunately, the majority of characters fall into one distinct archetype and aren't the jack of all trades we need, so most of them are never getting the spotlight. Secondly, with only one character on the board, all the enemies only have one person to target, which causes them to get jumped by absolutely everyone all at once. Even characters such as the Prototype.
The Prototype isn't supposed to look like that, he's supposed to look like Pomni.
Due to the enemies only having one person to target, as soon as the run started, Bonnie died to overworld enemies, while Foxy and Toy Bonnie both died to Auto Chipper. 4 characters have already died, and we have made absolutely zero progress, even with me grinding a ton of money to get B and Medpod bites along with the Auto Shield chip. I was worried about losing even more characters, so I looked through the selection menu to see who would be the perfect fit for flying solo, and it turns out this random kid JJ is actually one of our best early game characters for this challenge. You see, JJ's move Gloom Balloon has gotten a pretty substantial buff and refreshed. It not only debuffs enemy attack power, but now also deals damage, satisfying 2 of the traits we need in a character in a single move. Now JJ still may not be able to heal, but Refreshed also added a guard mechanic, so if she ever gets low, she can put up a shield and have some Medpod bites automatically heal her up. Every fight eventually turned into one of those speed edits as JJ Gloom Ballooned, JJ guarded, and JJ won, as she defeated both Auto Chippers and Totocap, finally giving us some meaningful progress in the game. I was feeling pretty great, but even though JJ's winning now, I knew she would eventually fall. Now, I'd like to introduce you all to a concept that reigns true throughout this entire video, and it's titled the Chosen One Fallacy. It basically means that just as long as a character is chosen to fight solo, they will eventually die due to enemies slowly becoming more powerful over time. At the end of the day, every character in this Nuzlocke will eventually meet a power too great for them to overcome, and it'll stop them where they stand, passing the torch onto someone else and repeating the cycle. Unfortunately though, after JJ made it to Dusting Fields and entered the Bouncer fight, that too great of a power seemed to have already arrived. Bouncer must have just really hated the Balloon Children in particular, as his signature move Snowball dropped JJ's health down to a really low amount. And with only one character on the board to target, it wasn't long before the fallacy came into fruition.
No! Oh no, I'm gonna die,
And with that, JJ's story came to an end, and her legacy was cemented in the Nuzlocke timeline. I want to make it 100% clear though, even if a character dies and doesn't make us any progress, I still care and value every single one of them in this Nuzlocke, even Lollipop Freddy. I realized around this time I really needed a segue into the like and subscribe plug, so I need a character to do it. And shit, it's the neighbor, isn't it? It's gonna be the neighbor. Hey everyone, just wanted to ask if you're enjoying this video so far, please like the video and subscribe. The last video on FNaF World Refreshed got so much love that I actually ended up becoming a playtester for the game. So if we could somehow get the same amount of support on this video too, that would mean the world to me. Thanks. Anyways, after JJ's death, Phantom Balloon Boy was next up to bat. And thankfully, after some smart timing of the guard button, I was able to block the critical damage Bouncer Snowball usually provides. And with the super move to chuck out an onslaught of Gloom Balloons, it wasn't long before Bouncer was defeated. Although, before we continue, I think I need to get this off my chest. I really don't think Phantom BB will be able to make it anywhere further in this challenge, so he can just take all his Gloom Balloons and fly away for all I care. I say this because Bouncer still did a ton of damage to him, even with us having an auto shield up to block 50% of all damage and an attack debuff up. The next couple bosses do a ton more damage compared to Bouncer, so I fear if I send out Phantom BB to take care of them, I'll just be signing his death warrant. It's incredibly unlikely I'll be able to make any more progress in this Nuzlocke. Although, unlikely doesn't mean impossible. Oh yeah, we're bringing back the ancient techniques from ye olden times. Let's go gambling. Alright, so to actually make any more progress, we're gonna need a character who's incredibly self-sufficient, and unlocking Mendo seems like our best bet. He's a new character added in Refresh that has a ton of base HP comparatively to my other characters, so he can take more hits. And he's even got some super strong moves to boot. Although, to unlock him first, you need to buy the Titanium Endoskeleton and challenge him in his boss fight, in which I'm sure to survive with a single character. Okay, so I guess sending in a character to fight him would be criminal homicide, but just as long as I land an incredibly unlikely insta-kill like Unscrew to take him out before that happens, we should be good. Now these odds may be super low, but with an auto mimic chip by my side, I can double the attempts I get. So before fighting Mendo, I went into the glitch area to grab it. Once we get up there, up to the glitch land, 100 billion ships await our every commit. Chica! Okay, so, Chica died. But you know what? That's fine. I got the chip and challenged Mendo with my first unscrewer, Phantom Chica, and once she got into the fight, she... Okay, Phantom Chica's dead too. But, I mean, what's one more to the pile anyways? After all, I've still got my second unscrewer, Phantom Foxy, who can definitely land his unscrew to insta-kill Mendo, and... Ay, Mendo, espero que intentes darle un gran beso a Fredbear que marque plariazione a tu papilla mordida del 87! But you know what? That's just peachy. After all, I still have my last unscrewer, Withered Bonnie, to unscrew Mendo. 9 characters have died. 9 characters have died, and my biggest accomplishment is defeating f***ing Bouncer! And with that, only one insta-killer remained for me to defeat Mendo, my favorite animatronic Toy Freddy with the move Rage Quit. This move's got a 50% chance to try and insta-kill an enemy, but also a 50% chance to backfire and insta-kill yourself instead. I was scared putting all my faith in such a risky last gamble with my favorite character of all, but I decided to send him out to hopefully insta-kill Mendo and save this run from extinction. And in this moment, I remembered, this isn't the first time Toy Freddy's done this. You see, I've got a bone to pick with AstralSpiff. A little while ago, he also did a FNaF World Refreshed Nuzlocke and surprisingly ended up getting into a near-identical situation to this one, as he also sent out a solo Toy Freddy to try and insta-kill Mendo like me. His chat was spamming the phrase El Sacrificio for good luck, in reference to the name I've given Toy Freddy in previous videos in honor of him hitting some batshit insane clutch-up moment, but unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. Well, AstralSpiff, you got one thing wrong, Buster. So you better listen up, because I know you're watching this video, and you wanna know why I know that, AstralSpiff. Last DM we had, you mentioned how many videos I've uploaded, and I'm like, oh wow, a YouTuber I look up to watches my videos. That's so cool. Turns out, this 26-year-old married man was only making a 6'7" joke! And as I loaded into this fight with solo Toy Freddy myself, I realized something. Spiff never actually had any faith in Toy Freddy in his run and only labeled him a guinea pig. Meanwhile, I remembered the sacred phrase of 99% of gamblers always quit before they hit it big. The difference between him and I at this moment is that Spiff wasn't worthy of his power. He may have had a Toy Freddy, but I have an El Sacrificio.
Oh my god! He actually hit it!
By the grace of the gambling gods themselves, Toy Freddy somehow ended up landing the insta-kill on Mendo. I don't think I've ever been this shocked in my entire life. And honestly, although I'm a little nervous to see what comes next, I'm feeling pretty freaking confident.
At this moment, I was absolutely ecstatic.
My GOAT Toy Freddy somehow overcame the odds and I really stuck it to the man, right? Mendo was finally unlocked and the run seemed to be at the highest point it's ever been. However, I've come to learn accomplishment and success breeds ego and arrogance if left unchecked. I was winning now, but in reality, this fight was only the catalyst for the beginning of the end. If I were to rank every character's solo viability in FNaF World Refreshed, Mendo would sit pretty comfortably towards the top. With the move Armor Song, he can buff his defense to take more hits. And alongside the new move Endo Army 2, he can ignore the one character limit entirely and bring out the Brigade, a firing squad of Endo O2s that deal absurd damage. With him, I took out the new Living Tombstone boss in Black Tomb Yard, alongside having a closer fight than I would have liked against a Mad Endo to get the Fine Characters chip. The Chosen One fallacy is definitely still real, so I needed Mendo to have a pupil or protege under his wing to overtake his role in the event of his passing. I ended up unlocking basically every character in the game after a huge Pinwheel Circus grind and got Mendo a sick new skin, but once I unlocked and laid eyes on the FNaF World Refreshed exclusive character toy box and their slot machine-esque move selection, I had fallen in love. Now, I won't lie and say around this time, my gambling urge was at an all-time high. For context, recently I'd been playing Marvel Rivals, and they ended up dropping some wedding skins for Rogue and Gambit. The only problem is that you can only unlock them via a gacha system, in which the odds for actually getting what you want aren't exactly in your favor. So I kinda rolled the 1 in 50 and got these skins first try. So when I see a character that has a randomly rotating move pool that even has the possibility of letting me use OP Halloween attacks, I mean, how am I not gonna take that chance? My luck has been fantastic! With Toy Box, I was able to take out the next two bosses, both Browboy and Bubba, with ease. My luck was so great, I even spammed the new Refresh exclusive move Coin Flip twice in a row, and both times it landed on heads for some insane damage. So once I went into the next mandatory boss fight, Pork Patch, I selected the move Coin Flip again and... Wait, what happens if it lands on tails? Alright, so maybe I let my success get to my head too much and let Toybox get insta-killed due to the coin flip landing on Tails, but honestly, it's probably because the game just saw me winning too much. I mean, come on, the house always wins after all, right? It can't be my fault. After this death though, I just sent out Mendo to take out Pork Patch and secure the win, finally giving me access to both the FNaF World Refreshed exclusive areas, the Backwoods and Withering Dunes. And as I took out these next two bosses with Mendo, I went to check Game Jolt to see if there were any other FNaF World fan games I could play besides Refresh for the channel. There was FNaF World Simulator, FNaF World Adventure, there was even... Whoa. Is that f***ing blackface, dude?
Today, I'm feeling black.
Shut the f*** up! Anyways, after fighting the next two bosses in my way, Dreadhair and the Mad Coyote, Mendo is feeling pretty invincible right now. By utilizing Mendo's alarm attack alongside the brigade, I was able to shred their health tremendously. And after a while of pummeling them with the Endo crew, I was able to defeat them both. And I grabbed the key behind the Mad Coyote to gain access to challenging all 5 security switch bosses. To be honest, from how clean of a sweep these fights were, I'm starting to believe that the Chosen One fallacy thing I mentioned earlier is just a big sham. It doesn't feel like Mendo is ever gonna die. These guys are just too pathetic. And after a successful day with Mendo on day 1 of the Nuzlocke, I decided to stop playing for now and took the night off to go spend time and stargaze with my wife. And I had to break the news to her. It went a little something like this. You know, it's funny, Ashley. I did a poll on my channel after I mentioned you in my video, and I think like 60% of people said I was lying and I wasn't even a married man.
Really? I mean, that's kind of your fault. You keep lying in your videos, so people aren't gonna believe you when you're being honest. I'm just glad some people have faith in you.
After getting back to the FNaF World Refreshed Nuzlocke on day 2, my self-confidence was at an all-time high. All I had to do was take out all 5 security switch bosses in my way, and Mendo showed no signs of slowing down. I took him to take down the first switch boss, the Super Grinder, and it was a clean sweep. With one down, I was like, why stop there, and immediately bum-rushed the next one Snow Cone, and took him out too with no worries at all. Honestly, with Mendo being able to take down practically any boss, I'm starting to realize how soft I was earlier. You know, with the whole caring about characters even if they don't make any progress thing. Mendo's success has truly opened my eyes into how overly lenient I was. He's out here defeating Super Grinders no problem while most couldn't even take down an auto chipper. Mendo is so good at his job that all these other bum characters I unlock just get to coast on the bench, watching someone actually competent do all the work. I swear, besides him and Toy Freddy, everyone else doesn't deserve my respect in the slightest. But let's just keep this easy win train going into our 3rd switch boss, Super Goon. And yet again, Mendo is as untouchable as always. Even without a healing move of his own, he truly is unstoppable!
Losing Mendo should have been my wake-up call. It really should have.
I was so caught up in the success, so overconfident that Mendo could do anything that I was blind to how close he had been cutting it over these past couple fights. I failed to realize that when bosses reach half health, they go into a rage mode and ramp up the amount of blows they deal tremendously. And with only one character on the board, they have to tank an unrelenting onslaught. So once he made it to the home stretch of the Super Goon fight and got him down to less than 1000 HP, the Chosen One fallacy had finally caught up once more. But instead of taking a step back and reevaluating the situation like I should have done, I needed results. In my mind, there was still a sea monster out there, and I needed them gone. Alright, our best character just met his end, which means one of you will have to get off the bench and actually provide some value instead of being carried by someone else. Someone's gotta fill in Mendo's shoes, and if none of you can do it, you'll all die a disappointment. The plan is simple. I'm going to send out Endo02, one of Mendo's members of the brigade, all on his own to FNaF World Refreshed newly added ice caves, in order to also get the newly added Springlock's Fury chip. Because my best character is now gone, Endo02 needs to make up the attack power deficit as he's only got Endo Army 1 as opposed to Mendo's far superior Endo Army 2. So I wanted to grab this chip for the extra firepower and eventually come back to re-challenge Supergoon and finish what his superior started. The problem was that the chip was guarded by the newly added Glacier boss, who similarly to Bouncer can lob tons of snowballs to drop you down to scarily low health. My optimism for Endo02 soon turned into disappointment, as he simply wasn't able to keep up, and died when Glacier reached less than half health. Now, usually I think I'd say something cheesy here, like, it's one thing to see a character's story end, but it's another thing to see it end before it even begins, But, if I'm being honest here, just between you and me, Endo02 was always worthless anyways. I mean, come on, he was always so reliant on being part of a group, always being associated with someone far better than him to actually provide any value. So when he's on his own, it only makes sense he wouldn't be able to do anything useful. And the disappointments just kept rolling in with Endo01. I mean, I sent him into the exact same fight as before, but because of his inferior endoskeleton, he died the exact same way as his brother. Honestly, I don't even know why I'm giving these two graves at all. They provided no value for me and made no progress towards victory. Why should I even care about them? But okay, whatever. Next I sent out Lefty, a new character exclusive to Refresh to finally finish this fight out right. He's got the move Death Wish, which deals more damage if there's less enemies on screen, so he was able to shred through Glacier's health and finally grab the Springlock's Fury chip. But when I went back to the Supergoon fight for Lefty to finish it out, his true colors finally showed for the world to see. I mean, after Supergoon let out an unscrew to insta-kill Lefty, I mistimed my team swap to block it and... No! I am not taking the blame for his incompetence. It's Lefty's fault he died, not mine. He should have just lived the unscrew without my input. It can't be my fault. I sent out Security Puppet to defeat Supergoon, and yet again, she died just like everybody else. She's only really got support moves, so is it a real shocker that she died before being able to do anything of value? But okay, whatever. I may be surrounded by absolutely incompetent characters, but at least I know I can always rely on Toy Freddy to rage quit me out of any situation. So I sent him in to finally take care of Supergoon once and for all.
Aw, jeez. I'm sorry. I think my rage quit missed.
Do it again.
I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, there's a 50-50 chance I just hit myself and die. After all,
I'm not asking. Do it again.
Okay. Here I go.
God, you better not become like the rest of them. I am so tired of all these people who can't do anything for me. So you better get it right! No. No. Toy Freddy, you've got to get up!
Before, Toy Freddy was able to land an insta-kill no problem, but now, in that moment, after everything, I wasn't worthy of his power anymore. I may have had an El Sacrificio, but now, I have a Toy Freddy. And that's how I got this fate.
Coming to terms with the fact that all these characters died around me is one thing, but it's another thing that in their final moments, all they saw was someone who never cared about them. I wish I could turn back time and take it all back, but I can't undo what's already been done. These actions last. I mean, they don't just go away because you want them to. Instead of dwelling on the past, I need to focus on the future. Something that can actually be changed. So many of these people deserved so much better. And I think there's only one way for me to give these people their happiest day. I will put this Nuzlocke back together. In order to get back on track and make things right, I'll need to call upon the help of a brand new solo character, Crying Child. Now, initially, I wrote this little guy off completely for flying solo. All he could really do in the OG is buff his defense with Armor Song, as he has no attacking moves and no way to heal himself. In Refresh though, his kit got a massive overhaul, which increased his self-preservation potential tremendously. He now has 2 new attacking moves such as Pixeloons, which chucks pixel balloons at enemies for damage, Mask, which reflects damage back at enemies when it's active, and even the brand new healing move Happiest Day, which gives him a cake to munch on and eat all his problems away. In all honesty, when I sent him in to deal with Super Goon once and for all, I don't think Crying Child even realized he was fighting in the first place. He probably just thinks this is one big party for him. He gets to launch balloons into the sky, wear a mask with a smile for hours at a time, and even devour a huge birthday cake all for himself. Well, either that or he just thinks every boss is trying to steal his cake, in which his fat ass won't let happen.
Yay, he starved to death! I won, yay!
To add the icing on the cake, with an endless speed ship, Crying Child moves so fast that he can also stack multiple cakes out on the field at once for healing. So if he ever gets decently low, he can just go, oh boy, 2 cakes, and eat all his problems away. The party seemed to never end, as after a long while, Crying Child was not only able to defeat Super Goon, finally, but also Mad Endo and Lazy Eye, finishing out all 5 security switch bosses while having the best day ever. His progress was amazing. That is, up until we got to the second to last boss, Security. I'll be honest, I knew Crying Child would never be able to go the full distance. So when I saw the damage Security was putting in per hit, I knew this power was too great for him to overcome. I've come to terms with the fact that the Chosen One fallacy always reigns true no matter how confident you are. So I knew at this moment Crying Child's time had come. But something was different about this death compared to all the others. In every other scenario, everyone else met an unfortunate, tragic, or even downright despicable demise. But here, Crying Child had the most fun he's ever had. And I mean, with all those party supplies, when he dies, he'd be sure to throw the greatest celebration ever once he met with the others. Once Crying Child met his inevitable demise, I knew he would award those fallen before him the celebration they never had, spreading joy regardless of how far they made it, and give everyone the happiest day they deserve forevermore. But now this begs the question, who could possibly be the character to bring it all home? We still have to defeat Security and Scott to complete the game and win the Nuzlocke. And it seems like such a Herculean task with all these characters already gone. Keep in mind, in Refreshed, when these bosses reach half health, they enter a rage mode where they attack even faster than before. And even in their base form, Crying Child wasn't able to keep up even while spamming healing. It's incredibly unlikely I'll be able to make any more progress in this Nuzlocke. Although, unlikely doesn't mean impossible. Oh yeah, we're bringing back the ancient techniques one last time. So say it with me now for the final time, let's go gambling. Alright, you goofy goobers, here's the deal. In order to defeat these two bosses and win this Nuzlocke for good, we're gonna have to hit a clean unscrew to insta-kill them both in order to avoid going into their rage form entirely. It only triggers if they reach less than half health, so if we unequip all our attacking items and focus solely on unscrewing, it'll never happen, which also allows us to allocate more resources to defending their blows. Now, I may have already made most of my insta-killers go extinct, but I have one final ace in the hole, the auto unscrew chip. I nabbed this nifty little gizmo back in the ice caves when Lefty took out one of those glacier bosses guarding the chip. It basically chucks out unscrew attempts on random intervals with no input of our own, which can, in theory, kill the final two bosses. All that's left is to decide our final character. And with the new overpowered healing move leadership by his side, I knew Fredbear would be our best option. In all honesty, I don't know if I'm truly worthy of landing any more insta-kills after everything I've done. But maybe, just maybe, I can land them. Not for me, but to show everyone that their sacrifices weren't in vain. And after loading into the security fight once more, I swiftly learned that this strategy wasn't as stupid as it sounds. Only one boss remains and only one unscrew remains to land. So, without further ado, let me show you how this game ends. Immediately, I realized Scott's attack power was brutal. Even with all the defensive items I had equipped, he still hit like a truck and got Fredbear's health into the double digits in only one swing. Thankfully, leadership is such a strong healing move that I was able to keep him healthy thanks to it and the healing bites. All I needed was one. Just one unscrew to connect to end this Nuzlocke for good and finally achieve the victory my fallen characters all deserve. But just like most others before it, it seemed like this game wouldn't have a happy end. Just like Nuzlocke's prior, Scott had a fourth wall coming up primed to destroy all the hopes and dreams I had in this fight. No matter how good my defensive capabilities are, this move could easily combo with Scott's bash attack to wipe out Fredbear in an instant. With the basic attack alone, his health got to the double digits, so the fourth wall would be the perfect amount needed to finish the job. Unlike other Nuzlockes though, there was no Team 2 to switch in and tank the hit. Sure, I still had one unscrew left, but after this, Fredbear was doomed to fall as the fourth wall was closing in. With my back against the wall, and no other options left, the only thing I could do now is win.
Yes! Oh my god, dude, I saw the fourth wall coming up! Oh my god!
I was stressing out so bad that entire fight because I'm like, oh my god, if the fourth wall comes to kill me, it's over. The move came up right as the unscrew finally hit. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. After triumph, after failure, after doing the unthinkable, and after redemption, I somehow won the FNaF World Refreshed One Character Nuzlocke. By the skin of my teeth, I clutched out a victory with my last possible unscrew right before Fredbear's guaranteed death. And so, with a finish that couldn't have been any closer, the FNaF World Refreshed One Character Nuzlocke was now complete. Now, I think there's a lot of life lessons you could take from this adventure regarding the futility and unfairness of holding everyone to the same standard. People in this world may never be able to do what their peers can accomplish, so it's important to appreciate their success even if they aren't the LeBron James of whatever they do. By expecting the same results from everyone, all it'll amount to is just you becoming cruel and unsympathetic to those around you. I'd also like to give one final note about how success can corrupt man, but I really don't think I need to say much else, as I think Fredbear's fate from the Chosen One fallacy put it best. You can have all the success in the world, but if you can't check yourself and look back at who's staring in the mirror, I don't think you'll have a world left. I actually forgot Fredbear was my one character. I actually just made the oldest blunder in the book possible, dude. Oh my god, I'm so dumb.